Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all about my treatments, and I'm just going to share with you what I went through all the way up till my transplant. So after diagnosis, my doctor immediately went into what I would be doing and the combination of drugs that I would be taking. Due to my inflammation and the pain, I would be given steroids immediately. Now that we knew what was going on, I could take something for my pain finally. And then I would be taking a daily chemo. I would be taking a weekly chemo shot. And then of course, I would be taking steroids regularly once a week. So the combination of drugs that I took is what's known as RVD. Revlimid, Velcade, and dexamethasone. As well as once a month, I went in and had an infusion of a drug called Zometa. Helps kind of repair any damage that the myeloma might have done to your body. I get all of this information, and of course it takes a while to get your chemo approved. They just leave you with this paperwork, and I knew I was going to be having to deal with my insurance and the social worker, which I did. That in itself could be a whole other video, but if you've been through this, then you know how frustrating it could be, because there is just always something to deal with. Getting everything approved and making sure you have the right test and trying to get certain medications covered. So it can be very, very, very stressful. As if cancer isn't stressful enough, it's even worse when you finally have to get involved in your treatment. So the weekend after diagnosis, when I went to church, my pastor, who is also a very dear friend to me, he shared my diagnosis with a congregation. I had been on the prayer list, and a lot of people kind of knew what was going on. So, he shared that I had been diagnosed, and I remember after the service, so many people gathering around me. My pastor, he anointed me with oil. The elders and him and his wife, my mom, my stepdad, just so many wonderful friends of mine, they all laid hands on me and they prayed over me. At that point, I truly believed I had been healed. And I knew I still had to go through treatment, obviously, but I knew he was going to take care of me. And I was so blessed by all of these people praying over me, praying for me. Again, just one of the many ways God showed me how many people loved me and supported me. We went over to my grandmother's after church, and unbeknownst to me, my cousin had told everyone, we're gonna wear burgundy because burgundy is the multiple myeloma ribbon color. After everyone started to gather, I just looked around. Everyone is wearing burgundy, and I lost it. So I have a really big extended family. They all were like, no matter what it takes, we're gonna get you healed. Blew me away, how much they supported me. That Tuesday I went back to the doctor. The doctor shared with me that just from the steroids alone, because at that point, I hadn't gotten my chemo approved yet, just doing the steroids alone, the cancer in my body was significantly reduced. I mean, she was really blown away at my blood work. And again, I just thought, well, I know, I'm healed. It's just gonna get better from here. It did. By July, I did go to the doctor that she recommended, the specialist, and did some tests, and we're just going to see if you qualify for a transplant. But he thought that I was a great candidate. I had a bone marrow biopsy, and I was told that I was in a very good partial remission. I could just tell that he was so pleased with where I had come from where my diagnosis was. And I can even remember him saying, you know, I've never seen someone to get into remission so quick. And again, you know, there's God. I could just tell, like, he was so excited for me. He said, you know, based on this, you know, you're gonna have a EKG, sonogram of your heart, you're gonna have a chest x-ray, you're going to have pulmonary tests, blood work, so many tests to get approved for the transplant. I spent the next month or two going every couple of weeks to Mayo. By early September, it was approved, and they told me that I was definitely ready to have the transplant. So after approval of the transplant, so they gave me a shot every single evening to beef up my stem cells. And I had a goal of, I think I had a goal of like 10 or 11 million cells that I needed to collect. And so because of that, I kind of had to get like extra shots. And the reason why I needed so many cells was because most people only collect for 2 transplants, and he wanted me to get enough to have 3 transplants. Yay. So I think if I had to do one more day of the shots, I would have literally died. No kidding. You guys, it was just, that was the worst part. They scheduled me to come in and get a line. It's called a Hickman line. So after I got the line in, I got up bright and early, and I had to go in and I had to harvest my cells. So I went in, and basically it is like something out of a science fiction movie. There's like 4 beds, and there's just a curtain partition that you can close, and you're hooked up to a machine, and it, out of the line that you had put in, it takes out your cells. I did an extra day of shots and an extra day of collection. And once you're hooked up, I was hooked up at like 9 in the morning, and then I wasn't done until like 12. But once you're hooked up to that machine and it's collecting your cells, you're not moving. So I had to use like a portable little potty chair when I had to go to the bathroom. And like I said, you're in a room with other people. So you have to just close your curtain and do your business, you know, in front of God and everybody. So once I made it through, then I had my transplant the following week. So this is where I'm going to end this video. If you have any questions about anything that I shared, I hope, you know, I probably didn't, you know, give every single detail. There's just so many awesome stories I could tell you guys, but for the sake of time, that's basically the gist of my treatment. I'll go into, you know, being checked in for the transplant and kind of what that entailed. I'm gonna try to remember as much as I can, but that's basically it for my treatment. So thanks for listening to me shed some tears. It's really difficult to, you know, talk about some things, and it brings up a lot of memories, but that old poem called Footprints, where, you know, the guy said, you know, God, I see that we walk together through my life, but the hardest times of my life, there was only one set of footprints. You know, God's like, well, it was during those times of your life I was carrying you. That poem is just so true. There's just so much I could just tell you about how good God has been. And I have been held. I have been held in so many ways. I'm still being held. That is the end of my video. Thanks for joining me on my channel, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.